pathways to heaven. The levels of transition at this point are endless because many different degrees of spirits and forces can actually take possession of the vessel if the soul is not on watch and looking. It is important as the feminine gatekeeper of all life that we are grounded into the earth before we go into the trance states that music causes to avoid having our soul invaded by the itinerary of another force. There will always be people looking to lock into our sex chakras and fugitive entities trying to possess a physical house to carry out their mischievous deeds. We have known so little about when we feel the spirit we are made. To learn to when many preachers are preaching, they are in seven folds of power. The very spot that they stand in is electrified with spiritual sexual energy so great that it opens a very powerful energy portal that opens up the gates of heaven in solar systems above and the gates of hell below, which is in the earth realm. Now, all of the pleasures of each dimension lie at his feet, but he has to choose which degree of each direction that he will function in. All women that want to have sex with him at this moment release subatomic particles in the air that travel on energetic grids that align with the brain of the man inside of the preacher, which travel straight to his testicles and the brain of his sperm. If the preacher is strong, he learns to separate the issues that he has to deal with when he has so many souls at his feet ready to sexually submit to his will. Many preachers leave the pulpit with hard penises and highly elevated sex drives ready and willing to tear a vagina up. This is perfectly normal and a very beautiful state to be in because he is at a pivotal point in the cosmic time realm because he has to make a responsible decision to ejaculate with purpose and intention that is designed to elevate the consciousness of the soul of a vagina, as well as increase the vibratory Milky Way and the black hole all in one. A preacher must really have a lot of honesty and integrity within himself to rise above the sexuality aspect of the spirituality to avoid being a victim of the game and making women victims of that game. Many women actually dress up and sit on the front row of the church to entice the preacher to have a private consultation with him to seduce the pastor into a secret sexcapade. Many gay, bisexual men as well as lesbians, bi-curious women also find promiscuous sex partners in some of the biggest and most prestigious churches in Atlanta. Jesus is openly professed in front of the congregation, while Lucifer, the bright and morning star, is covertly walking among the flock, tempting the animal brain. The church is not a place to be saved from Satan, because it is the domain of the Serpent King. To run from Satan is to forever run from your own soul, because the Serpent King is a part of our own central nervous system. At our brain stem is the head of the serpent, and at our tailbone is the tail of the serpent. Because of the evolution of the serpent and crossbreeding with humanoids, we get the tailbone that looks like the remnant of a longer tail. Snakes at one time walked upright like men and had many variations of reptile species that looked like men with scale skin. In Genesis 3:14, the serpent walked upright to Eve and spoke to her consciousness face to face and eye to eye. The serpent, which is also known as the Kundalini energy, coils up and rests at the base of the spine in inactivity and uncoils and expands to rise up the spine to the base of the brain when our spiritual sexual energy arises. When Satan fought with the gods and lost, he and his legions was cast into the Badlands or outworlds to rule over them and the inhabitants therein. Satan, which is only one of this God's many names, was thrown out of the upper worlds with the Elohim because they wanted nothing to do with him, because he wanted to rule by destroying the premise of all of the God's knowledge by converting the system to a reptilian agenda based on war and conquering and bloody mayhem. Satan was a reptilian crossbreed, a divinely orchestrated mutation.